Life is about using the whole box of crayons. In 1903, the first Crayola crayons were introduced. At that time, there were 8 colors: black, blue, brown, green, orange, red, violet, not purple, violet, and yellow. By the 1950s, there were 48 crayon colors. Creative juices were certainly flowing as the Crayola company created new colors such as apricot, burnt sienna, cornflower, thistle, as well as the extremely creative variations on the old standards, such as yellow-green, yellow-orange, orange-red. You know, you get the idea. Then the 1960s hit, and the number of crayon colors increased to 64, with new names such as raw umber and sepia. Like me, you're probably not sure what those colors even are. Well, I'll tell you. Raw umber is the color of the raw natural clay earth pigment, and, to my horror, sepia is the brown inky secretion of a cuttlefish. Why would they even consider having that as a color? Very creative, Crayola. Very creative. By 1993, I guess the Crayola company started running out of ideas, as if they weren't before. There were now 96 different crayon colors, and so they asked the public to help name the new ones. So, we now have macaroni and cheese, asparagus, and Granny Smith apple. What were people thinking? This is not a grocery store, it is just a box of crayons. Now, there are 120 crayon colors, and if you have seen a box lately, we now have Banana Mania, Pink Sherbet, Fuzzy Wuzzy Brown, and my personal favorite, Mango Tango. When you're a little kid, there's nothing like getting a new box of crayons. Whether it's the huge jumbo ones that come in only packs of 8, or the tiny ones that come in 16, 24, or, if you have grandparents that spoil you, 64 packs? New crayons are beautiful. They're pointy, organized, and overall perfect. I remember when I was little, and my brother Connor and I would get new crayons. We were the happiest children on the planet. Fortunately, I was born in 1994, and by that time, there were 96 crayon colors. By the time I was 4, there were 120 colors. Yes! Like most little girls, I used my crayons to color in books and draw on paper. According to my mom, I also considered crayons to be a food source, and on occasion I'd eat a few. I was also creative and sneaky, and I sometimes would use the crayons to decorate the walls and furniture, which my parents were not too pleased about. Even though there are tons of colors, we all have our favorites, which we tend to use repeatedly. When we color with that one special crayon frequently, it gets worn down and eventually breaks. Now, when you're 4 years old, it's the end of the world when the crayon breaks. The boxes don't come with 2 of the same color crayon, and if you try to color with one of the broken pieces, it's just not the same. When one of my crayons would break, I personally would literally have a meltdown. As we all know, you can't fix a crayon, and believe me, substituting a red orange for a red, not acceptable. My mom would try to glue and tape the broken pieces back together, but nothing can fix a broken crayon. One day, when once again yet another crayon broke, my mom looked me in the eyes and said, "Haley, honey, sometimes the crayons break." She walked away and left me to ponder this profound proclamation. Little did I know at the time that sometimes the crayons break would become a proverbial saying in our house. Being one of 5 kids, along with a dog or 2, trust me, we have broken our share of crayons over the years. We've grown older and for the most part, moved beyond the crayons, but my mother still reminds us on occasions that sometimes the crayons break. Whenever something happens in my life that is disappointing or frustrating, my mom will remind me again that sometimes the crayons break. But whenever she says this, I know that it has nothing to do with crayons breaking. It signifies to accept that what's done is done. We can't fix it, and it's time to move on. This simple phrase has taught me that I must accept that bad things will happen. I must rise above the obstacles that get in my way, and I must keep moving forward, focusing on the future. Sometimes the crayons break, but life is about using the whole box of crayons. So, when your crayon breaks, move on. Pick another one, maybe even Mango Tango, and use it. Remember, there's a whole box of crayons that you can use. Even though that one crayon, your favorite crayon, has broken, there are still 119 other opportunities to create your masterpiece, your future. There are so many choices and options in our lives. Why not try something new? Life is about using the whole box of crayons. Thank you.